Coming up next, more detractor content and after that Dragon Ball Z, only on Toonami.
It is official. Rooster Teeth, a once ginormous pop culture and gaming dynamo of a company, is officially closed. It was announced this morning, Warner Discovery, who actually owns Rooster Teeth, is ending Rooster Teeth. Done. So all ongoing projects under its umbrella are now canceled. The only exception, I guess they had already started creating like a spin-off segment for podcasts. So they're saying that like podcasts that were under its umbrella are likely to continue. But outside of that, all other content that Rooster Teeth makes is now done. Okay? Now, you may not even know what Rooster Teeth is. You know, back in the day,
Oh man, yep. Explaining one of the biggest media entities here on YouTube. Yes, please, DSP, please tell me about Rooster Teeth, because I'm sure you're so well versed in it.
came to prominence around the time of Halo, like Halo 2 and Halo 3, for Red vs. Blue, an online series. I'll argue, it was ahead of its time, right? To take the game of Halo and to be able to create situations where you could control the characters and make them act out as if they're on a sitcom, right? How did you do that? I mean, no one was doing anything like that back then. It totally was revolutionary.
What are you fucking talking about? Oh my god. Machinima has been around since before Red versus Blue. The fact that DSP doesn't even know the origin of the term machinima when he was signed to that what were they called, MCN, for years and years, and the fact that he doesn't know where that term comes from is astounding. This man is an absolute idiot who's never informed on anything. It's amazing.
And this was before YouTube. So they were uploading episodes of this show to their own servers and bringing people to them through their own website so people could watch this web series, right? And basically, this show got so popular that they started being able to make money and monetize and things like that around the era of YouTube. And then they branched out and did all kinds of content on the internet. You know, comedy-style skits, news-style shows, podcasting. I would argue probably the other big thing from them was that cartoonish anime series RWBY. Now, I've never seen it, so I don't know anything about it, but I heard it was very, very popular at the height of its popularity, and people were, like, crazy for it, and people were, you know, one of those things you go to a convention, oh, they're selling merch of it, they're talking about it, people are cosplaying as it and shit like that, right?
Yeah, delicious snort there. How do you not know, like, how to pronounce Ruby, especially like as someone who's been on this platform for so long? Like, you would think that you would be engrossing yourself in other content in the environment that you are basically existing in. This man is astounding, just completely astounding.
So basically, I guess that was like super popular at one time. But the crazy thing about the end of Rooster Teeth is that at one point they were so huge, they were like the big gaming media company, and they were buying up other gaming media to become part of their company. Like one of the things that happened with ScrewAttack.com back in the day is that ScrewAttack allowed themselves to be bought by Rooster Teeth, and then Rooster Teeth decided we're just going to close all of it except for Death Battles. Death Battles was a show where they would pit, for example, Superman versus Goku, right? Who would win, right? And this was one of the more popular things ScrewAttack did, so ScrewAttack sold out and then literally had their entire company closed because Rooster Teeth didn't think there was any value to it. Funny. Anyway.
Oh, why is it funny? Why is it funny? Because you have animosity towards Craig and anyone associated with ScrewAttack? Is that what's funny about it, DSP? Because you love to mock people that have been more successful than you? It seems that way. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Craig's political takes and social political opinions, he succeeded in a lot of ways more so than DSP. He had a company that was sold to a bigger company. I'm sure Craig made a decent amount of money off of that and then continued on his own way. But of course, DSP has to mock people, because that's just how he is. He's a great person.
That's what I mean. Like, this was a company that was so popular and so profitable and so big, they would go around the internet and buy up podcasts, buy up entire entities of gaming-related stuff, and absorb them into their collective. So they were huge.
Besides ScrewAttack, please name, like, 2 other entities that you know of, DSP. Because I don't understand why I know why you're talking about this, because you want to mock Rooster Teeth for, no longer being an active entity. That's your game plan. You like to mock people that close their doors or, maybe get put out of work. That's just kind of your MO. But like, why are you talking about this? You have no investment in Rooster Teeth. You never really commented about them before, I believe. You don't know anything about them. Your gaming news segment is so surface level research that what's the point? Like, do you know anything about Cow Chop? Do you know anything about Funhouse? Like, what insight can you possibly bring to this?
And then I guess what they did is they just kind of like squandered it all, and
what are you basing that on? Like an assumption? Have you actively been following Rooster Teeth? Because it seems like you don't know so far, that you haven't been following them. But you're just making an assumption that people do what you do and just waste their money and just spend money frivolously, right?
The question is like, what really happened? It's a good question because I don't know. I haven't analyzed what happened with Rooster Teeth. I see different people's opinions. For example, I see some people are saying at one point the management, like the people actually running the company from behind the scenes.
All right, hang on. How is this considered? How can you call this a news segment and all you do is just refer to other people's opinions? Like, this isn't even your opinion that you're going to be addressing. You have no knowledge in this, yet you want to label this as gaming news. What the fuck are you doing?
Were exposed for really heinous practices and awful things that they did to employees and others, and therefore because of that they lost a lot of their prominence, a lot of their respect. I think at one point a lot of people left the company because they felt like the company wasn't going in the direction that they wanted to be associated with. So when you lose a lot of your talent who people like and that talent moves on to do their own stuff, you're going to lose a lot of your viewer base. They're going to move over there and you're left behind with the leftovers, right? So I think that's what happened is over time, basically.
What's with this? This is such a weird thing. What the hell is with this like Illuminati thing he's doing with his hand? The Freemason triangle shit. What are you doing, dude?
People were upset with the fact that Rooster Teeth was just kind of a skeleton or a shell of its former self, where the people who really were talented or the people who were well-liked were leaving the company to go do other endeavors, and the people left behind were like the second and third stringers, and people weren't liking that as much.
All right, now I haven't really followed Rooster Teeth in a really long time, so my information might be a bit dated. But as far as I know, the head of Rooster Teeth, Bernie Burns, right? I think that was his name. He had, from what I understand, he left and actually left the country. Like he wanted to move to like some part of Asia or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but there were some scandals regarding Adam from Funhouse, and then there was a member of like a Rooster Teeth proper that got caught up in some scandals as well. I do know that the Rooster Teeth caught some flack in regards to Mika Burton's treatment while she was there. They started kind of dealing with a lot of issues, and then there were like layoffs where a lot of the fan base was upset with Rooster Teeth management because there were certain people laid off over the years. And I know Jeff had to address that. I remember seeing something like that at one point. But again, my point being is like, why is he addressing this? Like he is saying, oh, well, other people are saying this. It's not that he's recounting actual information that he's seen or that he's researched. He's just, hey, this is something that my chat is telling me.
Yeah, so over time, things change. This is a company, I think, they were around before YouTube. So you're probably talking like over 20 years that they were prominent and making tons of money. And you're like, well, where did it all go? How the hell did they screw that up? I don't know. That would be a fascinating topic to probably like delve into. I'm absolutely sure there's probably people out there who have done documentaries on it. But now there's probably more coming because it was officially announced today that it is done. Like today, it is over. They are done. They're liquidated, done. And only some of the podcasts will continue on, but all other content coming out of Rooster Teeth has ended.
Well, maybe what you should have done, if you find it so fascinating that it would be interesting to delve into, is actually done a little bit of delving into it instead of just speculating about a company wasting money. But that's what you like to do. You like to speculate about things. You like to just go in completely blind and just kind of talk out of your ass like you did with the former occupants of your home. You like to accuse them of running an illegal chop shop in your house, and because you're a weirdo and you go to these weird extremes of everybody being completely irresponsible but you, even though you have proven, Mr. Bankruptcy, that you are completely irresponsible.
It's funny because some people are like, oh, what about Death Battle? Yeah, that's Rooster Teeth. So the one remnant of what used to be like Screw Attack is now gone. It will not exist anymore. It's done. Went out of business, you know?
I don't know about that. I would imagine things like Death Battle and or Funhouse. I know Cow Chop is defunct, but like entities like that will maybe just spin off on their own and continue their processes independently. I don't know if they would have to buy the rights. Like I'm unsure as to what contract agreements they may have had with Rooster Teeth or what contracts agreements were with I think it's Time Warner or Warner Discovery that the umbrella of Rooster Teeth kind of had. I don't know if they had any sort of language in their agreement that would allow them to keep their IPs kind of in possession of the original creators, but that's like intimate knowledge of that agreement that we won't really know until, you know, those creators actually speak out about it as to what's going to be happening.
So, yeah, it's weird. It is weird, for sure, to have something like that that's kind of been, you know, since the era of the internet being dominant, internet culture, gaming culture on the internet being dominant, Rooster Teeth has always been a part of that, right? And now to say that one of the originators of gaming memes, gaming content is gone is weird, you know? But I think a lot of people have said they've seen the writing on the wall for a long time. When they saw the company grow too big for its own good, lose its actual direction, lose the spirit of what originally it was supposed to be, literally start buying up everyone else and smashing them into their collective brand, and then them losing their identities, right? Like, it just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where every new scandal, every new thing that was exposed, every new misstep was just, oh god, it's definitely on the way out, right? So I'm wondering, usually when something like this happens, what'll happen, like Warner Discovery owns them now, which is weird. You're like, well, Rooster Teeth was buying up everyone else, but now Rooster Teeth got...
How is that weird? How is that weird? How acquisitions happen all the time. How is that weird, Mr. Business Degree? If you're an entity and you have the capital to acquire other entities to then make yourself more appealing to a possible potential buyout, that's a normal everyday practice. Like, there are portfolio companies that do nothing but buy out smaller companies to then be bought out, or to turn them or to leverage them in some sort of like asset agreement. Like, this man loves to tout how much of a businessman he is, but he knows nothing about business. It's wild.
Well, yeah, Rooster Teeth years ago got bought by Warner Brothers, Warner Discovery or whatever. And likely what will happen is they will try to find things that are still of value and try to save them and sell them off, right? Like, for example, you remember Square Enix a few years ago decided to sell off many of their popular game lines, and now those are being published by other companies and stuff like that. Probably that's what will happen. Like, I'd be surprised if, like, someone doesn't pick up that RWBY and the rights to it, or someone doesn't pick up a show like Death Battle. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If these things still have some popularity to them, if people are still interested in spending money on them, why just end them? Or for example, I guess with that RWBY, it's first of all, it has how many seasons? Like a ton, right? You're not just gonna stop selling it. Of course not, right? Likely they're gonna find a way to keep distributing it, whether digitally or physically or whatever, so that people can keep buying it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm assuming that they will probably have someone else make the show. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? It's pronounced Ruby. I don't even know that. I didn't even know it was pronounced Ruby. I've never seen the show. I don't even.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about it. I just like to commentate on things I have no idea about. What now? Watch me chew some water.
No, it's pronounced Ruby. Oh, okay. So something like that, I feel like will survive. But what's sad, always what's the saddest in a situation like this, is all the people who over the years have been a part of Rooster Teeth and have put their blood, sweat.
Here comes pretending to be empathetic, sympathetic DSP. Mr. I've insulted developers for a majority of my online career. I've said people deserve to be fired. I believe he's gone to some extremes about his opinions on people who actually work on media and develop media or creative types, and he has said that they deserve to be out of jobs. Now here comes his I feel for them. I'm a blue collar guy. I feel for the little guy. little spiel.
And tears into that company and tried to make it as good as it could be. And the fans who've been a huge, part of that experience for some 20 years, who now are just.
So, like, I mean, if Phil wasn't such a disingenuous piece of shit, like, this is a normal thing for anybody to say. Like, when game studios get shut down, like with all these layoffs that are going on, a lot of the people that are affected are on the bottom end. They're the bottom end developers. They're probably marketing, those types of positions. Really not much as far as like senior to executive level stuff. And a normal person would say this, and I feel like they would be genuine, but I feel like DSP over the years has proven that he's just not a genuine, normal person. This isn't a bad take. It's just the person that it's coming from is not a genuine person. So I don't believe a goddamn word of it.
Left in the lurch. How do you go from being a company that was a little rinky-dink, we're making little memeable videos about Halo, right, to being one of the most profitable, prominent, internet-related gaming companies for culture, podcasting, news, and memes and jokes, and you're so popular and so much money, you're buying up everyone else. And then you mismanage that ship and literally drive it so far into the freaking Bermuda Triangle, right, that your company gets bought out and now liquidated and done. I mean, wow, what a story, and what a shitty one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they were bought out like a long time ago, like a while ago, which is why they were growing as fast as they did, I believe. Now, I'm not 100% on that, but he's acting like this was a liquidation and then, or a acquisition and then immediate liquidation. These things happen. We've seen it with Machinima. We've seen it with a number of different entities on this platform. It's just, unfortunately, how things go. Nothing really lasts forever, unless you're DSP, apparently.
Honestly. So that would be fascinating. Maybe one day we should explore that. Because, again, I don't know. I've never really delved into it. I'll be honest, I was never a fan. I am aware of Red versus Blue because when Kat actually moved in with me, she used to be a fan of it, and so we watched some of it together, and I thought it was funny. I thought that the show, overall, there was some stuff that was stupid, but I actually thought that a lot of it was quite well done, right? But, I mean, that's their past. That's not their present. That's their past, what they were known for, how they got prominent. But, yeah, like, I don't know that much about them, so. But, man, just one of those bastions of gaming that's gone again, right? And the meme persists, I guess. Dark Side Phil is still here in 2024 making content, and yet he's outlived another one. Goodbye to Rooster Teeth.
And there it is, of course. Him mocking people losing their jobs, him mocking a place that actually employed people and stimulated an economy, being shut down. And that's really the whole point, is so he can be like, oh, I outlived another one. But the thing is that he's too stupid to understand is that people, these programs that he quote unquote outlasts, those people are still doing content creation. The Super Best Friends Play or Two Best Friends Play, all of those people involved that were in that are doing their own stuff. They're either live streaming or they're doing their own YouTube content. Machinima, like most of the creators, as far as like the ones that I followed from Machinima, are still producing content either through live streaming or YouTube. Like if you look up Mr. Sark or Hutch or Nanners or I believe his name was Eat My Diction, Bruce Green, Lawrence Sontag, all of these people that were part of these entities just go to another position where they do something else. Like the entity name is gone. He's acting like he's just, these people lose this work and then they go and like work in a supermarket. Everybody, all right, not everybody, but a majority of these people that are involved still produce content, still do well for themselves. And that's just how it is. But of course he has to mock, he has to tease that he is somehow superior to all these people because he's still independent on his own and doing his own thing. When the reality is that a lot of these people were far more successful, far more prominent in this space, regardless of his like thing of like him being like prolific, has nothing to do with the actual level of success when you actually compare apples to apples between his content and content that these other entities were doing, in my opinion.
It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. There you go. Andrew Dale actually says they lost a ton of their viewership and sponsors after it came out about their treatment of employees. See, I guess I would like to know more about that. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how they mistreated employees or anything. I never followed the history.
You should have looked into that first. That's what you should have done. Mr. Gaming News Channel, Mr. I am enveloped in video games. That's what you should have done. You should have like somehow absorbed just parts of that just by existing on this platform.
I don't know what happened there. Again, that's like, for me, the red versus blue stuff is like kind of like college level. It's kind of like college humor. Remember college humor? Like that, I think of it at the same level. Like it was stuff that was memeable internet culture, but it wasn't for me. It was like for a different group. I was never into Halo like that back then. So like I didn't care and I didn't know about it, nor did it didn't really appeal to me. So it was like a different, offshoot of the same culture. Like totally I was into games, but I was into Street Fighter and I was into like, other stuff, while the whole Halo stuff was its own entity over here. So it kind of, I never really was in line with that. You know what I'm saying? So I never followed it. I really knew much about it. So, Pizza Box Gaming says college humor was great in its heyday. The stream's not making me feel so nostalgic. Yeah. How do I feel about the revival of X-Men 97? I don't know. I mean, obviously, X-Men cartoon was one of the things that I really liked in the 90s when I was a teenager or a young adult, before I was an adult. I don't know if I care about it in 2024. I feel like a lot of these nostalgic things they bring back, people are just so into nostalgia. And for me, when they just did Ninja Turtles again, right? What was it, Mutant Mayhem? And people are like, oh, are you going to watch the new Ninja Turtles movie? No. I'm not going to watch the 17th new iteration of the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles were from when I was a kid.
And what does that have to do with anything? When does their origin have to do with whether you choose to consume media now or not? Does everything have to be released like within the past 2 to 3 years for you to enjoy it? And what statement is that? Oh, it was from when I was a kid. Okay, and your point?
I don't fucking care about the Ninja Turtles anymore. I grew up. I'm 40-some years old. I don't care about... I also don't watch Transformers. I don't watch G.I. Joe. I don't play with He-Man action figures. I grew out of it.
Yeah, no one is saying that. You don't have to take it to an extreme, but you do all the time. You can still enjoy things from your childhood as an adult. But you have this weird perception that you have to be Mr. Successful Businessman, Mr. I have a family, which makes you super unrelatable and unlikable. Yeah, regardless of when it came out and what your age is, you can still enjoy things that you had as a hobby as a young adult or a child or a teenager. Like, this logic makes no sense.
It seems like a lot of people never fucking grow out of anything. They just want the thing over and over. So was I a fan of the X-Men when I was growing up? Yes, I owned the comic books. I owned the action figures.
He still owns a fucking action figure. He has a Wolverine toy that he puts up in his background. He has a fucking Sonic toy that's sitting up there currently. So what the fuck is this argument?
Watched the show every single Saturday morning when it came out on Fox. And then the show ended. And I was like, okay, it's time to move on. And now they're like, whoa, in 2024, we're bringing back X-Men 97. And I got to ask the question, why? If you're going to make a new X-Men show, that's something that would make sense to me. You're like, we're going to bring back the actual original X-Men 97. What are you doing?
Let's see. So because you, again, do no research into anything before talking, if you spent 2 minutes to watch the actual trailer, you would see it's a continuation of the story. It's not just them re-releasing the initial X-Men series. It's continuing off of after Xavier passed away. It's the X-Men after Xavier. He just has to watch the trailer. 2 minutes of your time. You can't even do that. This man should not be commentating on anything that he refuses to put in the bare minimum effort in. Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating.
What? I don't get it.
Yeah, of course you don't get it, because you're like an inhuman reptile.
To me, it feels like that'd be something like maybe as an oddity. I would watch like the first episode, right? The first episode. Oh, okay, just to see what they've done with it. And then I'd just be like, all right, I'm done. Great. Good for you. If it has a new audience with kids or whatever, okay. But I'm fucking in my 40s. I don't want to sit around watching X-Men cartoons, right? Like,
yeah, right. All you want to do is sit around and play WWE champions and listen to African jazz music or whatever, African tribal music before you go to bed, because that's what mature adults do. This man is so devoid of any joy in life. Like everything has to be this like egotistical, ego stroking. Like if he can't boast about something, he doesn't want to do it. It doesn't make any sense. Like you could still be an adult and enjoy it. You don't have to belittle it so much. And I think that's why people don't like him, is because he belittles everything, but without ever actually looking into it or gaining any knowledge on it, or just like spending time and actually developing a real, I don't know, like I don't know.
But some people just, I swear, they never grow out of it. I loved Ninja Turtles when I was 7. That means I have to watch every piece of Ninja Turtles media ever created until the day I fucking die. No.
Nobody says that. Nobody said that, and this is your immediate reaction, and this is why people don't like you, because you mock everything. You like it's your basically every take that he has is just his Minecraft take. It's his Minecraft take, but apply it to X, Y, and Z. He's super critical of anybody that likes it, super critical of the content itself. And then he's going to be like, oh, but if you like it, that's fine. After I've literally insulted every aspect of it, if you like it, that's fine, though.
Oh, it doesn't mean that. Really. You didn't have to watch the shitty Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies. You didn't have to watch the 17 cartoon iterations. You could have skipped them. I did. And I still, to some extent, have nostalgic feelings about Ninja Turtles, but I don't care about them to watch Mutant Mayhem or other shit. Like, I'm just not into it, right?
And that's where you could have left it. You could have been like, oh, yeah, you know, I heard that they're bringing back X-Men 97, but I'm just not that interested in it at this point. You don't have to do all this weirdo mocking, I'm better than you, I'm an adult, I'm 42 years old or whatever. Like, it's so stupid. I don't know how over the years he hasn't learned that this is what makes people upset with him. This man can't learn. Like, he just has the inability to learn.
It's up to you. For me, I'm not interested. I'm really not. Like, I'm hearing about it, I'm like, I don't really care.
And that's how you could have left it. You could have left it at that, instead of this long, drawn-out tirade of stupidity and mockery. Go fuck yourself, dude. You're fucking annoying.